This current administration is doing nothing but walking into gun stores, mom and pop gun stores, going after the simple little small minor paperwork errors that people are making and trying to shut those gun stores down permanently who've been in existence for decades. And what we're doing is by bringing this lawsuit, we're saying, you know what, you need to stop that. What Congress says this is what you're supposed to do. There are a set of laws there and they should follow those laws, not step outside those boundaries. And so we're trying to put them back in those boundaries and say this is enough. It's impossible for anyone to do what we do and not make any mistakes at all. You get people that walk into the gun store to fill out a 4473, which is the firearms transaction record. There's 100 ways a person can mess up this form, if not more than that. There are 100 different inputs that you actually put on the form. Even customers make mistakes when it comes to their name, their middle name or their first name. They reverse it. On that little box that says county, they put country. That does not mean that that person is going to get handed a firearm and they're not supposed to. They're not a prohibited person. And so their license should not get revoked just for that simple little minor mistake. I'm actually getting phone calls from gun stores all around the country, as far as like Oregon, as close as Houston. You're talking mom and pop gun stores. Grandparents, great-grandparents have owned this store, and all of a sudden now, ATF comes in and inspect them, find a little paperwork error. Maybe they've made the same type of error because they didn't catch it themselves, and they're wanting to shut them down. And this is the only way that I can help them is by filing a lawsuit, kind of being on the offensive instead of the defensive. I think we're assisting all the gun stores in the country in getting the ATF back into the box it need to be put back into. I'm so grateful that I was able to sit down and talk with TPPF. This organization is the one organization that I thought would actually stand up for Texans and stand up for all Americans in the United States and fight the federal government when they're overstepping their bounds.
Your business is going to have technical problems. There's no question about it. Pacific Office Automation is your guide because problem solving is our passion. Every business is unique, no matter how big or how small the problem. From copiers and printers, telephone systems, managed IT, print services, and more, we offer integrated, streamlined office solutions to keep your office humming. With Pacific Office Automation, it's problem solved. Visit pacificoffice.com today to find out more.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, "I invoke my right to remain silent," and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings, because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs, but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned, those statements can and will be used against you because you're not being interrogated. You're just starting to spout off. This is why it's imperative that you know your rights, and you shouldn't rely on the police to read them to you. Affirmatively invoke your rights. Say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent and my right to my attorney. Once you do that, the police legally shouldn't continue questioning you without your attorney present. But remember, there's a second part to this equation. After invoking your rights, you must exercise those rights. That means you have to keep your mouth closed. Protect yourself. Don't let the legal system take advantage of you after an incident. And Law Shield members, if you've been involved in a self-defense incident, remember to call the emergency hotline and speak with your independent program attorney.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government. After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were compliant with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Good day, gun nuts. Time to hump our guns around the country. Today, we're going to talk about 60,000 gun safes recalled after a shooting death. Also, going to go to Portland. Man, this guy plows through a parade in Portland. Also, lady walks into the Bristol, Connecticut Police Department, starts shooting. Also, President Biden talked about 100 rounds in the chamber. What? And then we're going to go to Ohio. Police officer and possibly intoxicated, drinking, carrying his gun. Also, shooting of a Jacksonville teenager, and it's kind of suspect. We're going to talk about that. And the Supreme Court says, hey, hold on. Supreme Court wants to chime in on ghost guns and have let the judges know what their thoughts are. And then the Smith & Wesson finally relocates to Tennessee. Also, we have inside studio Jamie Hammond. We're going to talk about the homeless situation in Austin, Texas.
Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Like the video. Make a comment down below. Tell us what you think about what we're talking about today. And last, hit that bell button, and then you'll get notified whenever we put out a new video.
Thank you, Zach, because I never would have been able to do that. We'll be here all day for me trying to do that. I'm telling you now. right, so let's jump over to the 60,000 gun safes that are being recalled. Man, this is a huge recall for the gun community. Apparently, there's a company that actually sells safes, Fortress Safe, and whenever you put in your I guess the passcode, or you set it to your, to your setting, apparently
to your fingerprint, right?
To your fingerprint setting. Apparently, what happens is it still can be open. On the
Any
default.
fingerprint will then open it.
Any fingerprint will still open, even though you've set your fingerprint to it. Any fingerprint would actually open it, to the point that someone was able to get access to the firearm, use it, and actually shoot either themselves or someone else. So
It was a 12-year-old boy, right?
yeah, so they're in big trouble.
That's tragic.
Someone didn't do the testing properly. So the recalled gun safes are portable lock boxes, personal safes, pistol vaults, and gun cabinets with brand names Fortress, and they've been sold at Cabela's, Gettysburg, and Legend, Range, and Field. So I guess, actually they've been sold at Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, Shields, Sportsman's Guide, Optics Planet, Dick's Sporting Goods, Gander, Royal King, Lowe's, and other stores nationwide, and online, Amazon as well, and also eBay. So if you have one of these Fortress safes, you might want to go ahead and return them back to the manufacturer, because something's wrong with them. So, and you can go to their website and get more detail about the Fortress safe recall. So it's going to be, man, they're cheap safes too. They're not even that expensive. You're talking between $44 and $290 for these safes.
Yeah, that's a little bit cheap.
Yeah.
If you get a safe, you want to get a good one.
All right. Also, man, I want to talk about this video in Portland where this guy drives through a parade. I guess he's running late for the parade. He's trying to meet up with family members, and he just totally freaks out because all the exits, for him to get off the highway are actually blocked by people that, the parade organizers. So that way, people won't be able to do exactly what he did, which is drive through the parade. And so this guy, and what got him in trouble, Zach, is the fact that he recorded with his own dash cam.
Yeah, he recorded 3 angles.
Of him acting insane.
Yeah.
All right. We got to take a look at this video. It's insane.
He's so angry.
The Lloyd Center exit, the Convention Center exit, every motherfucking exit. You motherfuckers! You!
He is so mad that his exits are blocked. This guy's unhinged. Ooh, there he goes. He's in the parade route now. Everyone's screaming. He's got his music playing in his truck, too. He's jamming out.
So,
Did you say what they charged him with?
let's see. Prosecutor submitted the video, and this is his own dash cam. This is when your own dash cam can get you. You're that inside, out the front, inside the video, and out the rear is all gonna come back to haunt him. So the video shows Meacham is his name, driving through a row of barricades, nearly hitting people along the parade route. Officers tried to stop him several times, but he got away. He eventually stopped and was arrested. He also is currently being held in the county jail, and yeah, he's in big trouble.
As he should be.
Insane. I don't know what goes to your head, to be that that worried that you're running late for a freaking parade. What's the big deal? It's like, okay, so you're running late. I run late all the time.
Anger management issues.
Seriously.
He's definitely going to get court-ordered anger management classes.
A lot going on in his life, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just can't handle the fact that he has to take a different route.
Yeah. needs Jesus in his life. That's what he needs. He does. He definitely.
He's lucky he didn't meet Jesus.
Can you imagine losing your shit that completely? I mean, that's crazy.
All right, so let's jump over to Bristol, Connecticut. So over in Bristol, this happened early in the month, October the 5th, at approximately 11:30 p.m. I guess this is when everyone's kind of chill, relaxed, probably eating dinner, on the night shift. And so this lady walks into the police station. She's 50 years old. Her name is Suzanne LaPrise. She enters the lobby of the Bristol Police Department, and she's banging on the glass. She starts banging on the glass, try to get someone's attention. Officers attempt to open a dialogue with her during the efforts, and she just starts firing shots at the glass. She starts firing shots, just everywhere inside the police department here in the lobby. And so she finally puts the gun down. And once she put it down, officers come out and then charge her. So let's take a look at this video of her sitting in the lobby. This is after she's fired a couple of shots and she decided to sit down because she's not getting any attention.
Brian, do not move. Do not move, Brian. Are these windows bulletproof?
Yep. Shots fired.
Are these windows bulletproof?
We got 2 cars going off to the front of the...
You got gun. That's her right here, right? Laptop, yep. Get down! Get down on the ground! Fire. You see your gun? Nope, she just went back. She's by the bathroom. Get down on the ground! Okay, she just went to the right.
I have the gun in her hand right now.
Taser. Brian. Okay, go, 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 go!
She's seriously distressed. There's definitely something going on, in her life. Just like the guy that drove. You know what? It's got to be the shit. It's got to be the shit. I bet you all these people got the shit.
It's messing with people's heads, huh?
It is. It's got to be the shit. I'm telling you.
Not just their arteries and blood vessels.
It's affecting their heads. It's affecting their heads, their brain. It's affecting everything. All their, their senses.
I mean, if they came out with some information that said it affected, your cognitive abilities or emotions, I would believe it.
I would too.
Yeah, it's got to be, because it makes no sense. And the funny thing about this is they're like, one police officer says, "Hey, is the glass bulletproof?"
He wasn't sure.
He wasn't sure. Like, how do you not know? How do you not know? Yeah, it's supposed to be bulletproof. Exactly, that thick glass up front.
Of all the places you could go and just shoot up,
that's the one place. Like,
maybe she just watched Terminator, the first one.
Yeah.
And Arnold goes to the police station.
And that's Connecticut. That's a strict gun state of all states to do that in. Connecticut.
I guess gun laws didn't stop a shooting from happening at the police station.
Oh, your gun manufacturer just left the state and traveled south and moved down south, out of the state. Wow. Okay. Now, oh man, this is my favorite one of the week here. So, President Biden says 100 rounds in the chamber. You got to listen to this. I can't even make this stuff up. This is when, somebody needs to go out there and just get your granddaddy. Say, Granddad, come on back in here, Granddad. Sit down, Granddad.
Come on, Papa.
It's okay. But listen.
Who in God's name needs a weapon with 100 rounds in a chamber?
Okay. 100 rounds in the chamber. I don't know who needs a weapon with 100 rounds in the chamber, but when they invent it, definitely seek me out, because I like to have it whenever it's made.
In the chamber.
Yeah. So whenever they make it, I definitely want it. So let me know.
What about a shotgun with number 8 birdshot? That's got about 100 pellets in a shell. Maybe that's what. No,
maybe that's what he's talking about.
No,
100 pellets. Who needs 100 pellets?
It is only one round.
Well, he's the one that said, walk out into the front porch and fire a round in the air. That deadly conduct charge.
Smart guy.
Aggravated assault.
Well, if you look at this video, you see exactly who he's pandering to. Are you familiar with the Human Rights campaign?
Yeah. A bunch of crazies.
Yeah, you know who they are?
No, who are they?
They are the most liberal of the liberals, okay? The hyper liberals at the HRC. You see the symbol that they have above their name? The equal sign, the blue equal sign background with the yellow.
The yellow stripes?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
the alphabet community.
Oh, is that what it is?
Uh-huh.
LGBTQ?
Yeah.
Elemental P?
And they think that all of the alphabet community wants gun control, that they all vote Democrat.
That's what they think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, we'll see what happens this next election. I don't think he's going to... You honestly think he's going to make it another 4 years?
No.
He's not going to survive 4 years.
Y'all think he's going to run? Y'all think he will be the nominee?
Yeah. I think they don't...
They just don't have a choice.
They don't have a choice.
They're stuck with...
They're locked in.
Yeah, has there ever been a president that sat his full term, his first term, and then
they didn't
run him for the second one?
They primaried him? They're not going to primary their own president.
With the way he is today, and you see him talking, there's no way he's going to make it through the election. He'll
make it through the election, and if he wins, he won't survive 4 years.
No.
There's no way. It's impossible.
My money's on he won't make it to the election. That's just me.
How can someone so ignorant of actual firearms be making policy and, writing laws?
Well, he's always had those great gaffes, though. He's always said like crazy stuff, but now dementia set in, so just his crazy is just on full speed.
Yeah, a lot of these politicians are that way when it comes to guns. They just say these idiotic comments.
Yeah, what's that guy? He had a gun and he said, "This is a ghost gun. It has 100 clip magazines." You know who I'm talking about?
Do y'all remember when Biden said AR-15 would blow a lung out of your body?
That's 9mm, I think.
Or was it 9mm? Yeah, 9mm that'll blow. It blows the lung out of the body.
Mm-hmm. So there's some controversy over a shooting of someone that was breaking into vehicles. So apparently, Anthony Cobb, 49, was charged with attempted murder after he shot a 14-year-old boy who was one of the 3 people allegedly burglarizing his vehicle. And this happened back on October the 5th. So although the 14-year-old was hit in the back, he survived his injury and was charged with 2 counts of burglary. In addition to the attempted murder charge, the homeowner or the vehicle owner, Antonio Cobb, was also charged with illegal possession of a firearm because he was previously convicted of manslaughter. Now, according to the neighbors, as many as 15 cars were targeted by thieves that morning. One of the targeted vehicles was a 2013 Hyundai Sonata owned by Teresa Glenn, and she believes the same trio broke into her car and stole it back on August the 14th. So they obviously have a problem in this neighborhood. So this just goes back to you just knowing what the laws are in your state. Well, it's different in different states. And so you need to know what the laws are in your state. So in this story here with Florida, apparently this guy shoots a guy in the back who didn't have anything on him. He didn't have anything. So he broke into the vehicle and he hadn't taken anything or didn't have anything on him, anything out of the vehicle on him. You can't really shoot someone in the back for that unless you're trying to recover the property immediately after in fresh pursuit. So, you got to know what the laws are in your state when it comes to, pulling the gun out, using it, and all that kind of stuff. And then the fact that he had a previously conviction for manslaughter also wasn't supposed to be in possession of the firearm in the first place for the state of Florida. So that caused a problem as well.
Yeah, and it was a 14-year-old kid, huh?
Yeah, well, he shouldn't have been breaking into cars. I don't feel sorry for him. Don't break into people's shit.
Yeah, in Texas, that would be criminal mischief at night.
Yeah, don't feel sorry for the 14-year-old. He FAFO and don't break into people's shit.
In Texas, if this were in Texas, that would be criminal mischief at night, which you are authorized to use deadly force if they are committing that.
That's correct. So you can use force or deadly force to stop them with criminal mischief at night in Texas.
He is 14.
Doesn't matter the age. Don't break into people's shit.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Let's go over to the Supreme Court. All right, so the U.S. Supreme Court tells the Fifth Circuit to stop its defiance and ghost gun case. So The Supreme Court, and I think that the Supreme Court is going to rule, in the favor of gun owners. But I think they just want the lower courts to know, hey, slow down a little bit. We are we're the Supreme Court of the land. We set precedents here. Don't overstep your bounds, Fifth Circuit and lower court. I think that's what they're saying in this particular case for the ghost guns. What do you think?
But they are ruling against the Second Amendment. But you think they're doing it out of principle of them being the Supreme Court?
That is correct.
And not because they are
because there was no dissent.
Against the Second Amendment?
There's no dissent at all. So I think this is a matter of saying, hey, we are the U.S. Supreme Court, and this is our authority and our power. Don't assume our power.
If we say so, then it is the law of
the
land.
Then it's the law of the land. Correct. And I think that's where they're just, trying to put the Fifth Circuit and other lower courts, back in their place a little bit. I think that's what they're probably trying to do.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Hope they're not
I don't
anti-Second Amendment.
I think, they're not. Well, the Supreme Court's not anti-Second Amendment at all. And the fact that there's no dissent, I think this is just one of those things like, hey, this is how it goes. We have the authority to do this, not you guys. Let's wait until it gets to our court, before we, make this decision to either something's banned or not banned or whatever, injunction or whatever. No?
Because they basically told the Fifth Circuit that their injunction is invalid. Is that what happened? Smoke detector? No. Is it?
Hope there's no other sirens going.
No. I hear a faint beep. Not now, though. Okay. All right. What'd you say again?
So explain what happened. Why did the Supreme Court have to step in and chastise the Fifth Circuit?
All right. So the Supreme Court basically blocked the decision, what the Fifth Circuit and lower court decided, because I guess two of the manufacturers returned to the Judge O'Connor's court, and they want an order barring the government from enforcing this regulation. The Fifth Circuit upheld that order.
An injunction.
Right. So the government asked the high court to void rather than just pause the lower court's ruling, to send a message that the lower court should not countermand the high court's authoritative determination. Now, the Supreme Court has once again, said, hey, lower courts, they voided the previous ruling of the lower court and allowed the ATF's regulations to go into effect pending further litigation. So basically, we want to wait until this case makes its way up the chain, and gets to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will decide, what's going to happen for ghost guns.
But they initially blocked the injunctions from happening.
Because there was an injunction, and so the Supreme Court came back and said, no, we're going to void that injunction, and we're going to put the ban back in place.
It's not a good sign that they voided the injunction, though, right?
I don't think it's about whether ghost guns are legit or not. I think it's just about who has the authority, who has the authority to determine it in the end.
The injunctions would have helped the people trying to sell them that came.
It's just got to wait. So we just have to wait a couple of years until this case makes its way up. Just got to be a little patient. Don't try to jump the gun.
That's not good, because then the people who are making the ghost gun kit, if you want to call it that, the unfinished receivers, they could possibly go under and go out of business before this gets resolved. So it's almost de facto gun control just because they're making them wait so long, keeping them in
like
limbo.
the bump stock, like everything. It's the same concept. I don't agree with it, but I see what they're doing. We just have to wait until this stuff makes its way up to the court, and in the end, we'll see what happens. And I think we're going to win. I think the 2A community is going to win in the end. We just have to be patient, unfortunately.
Hopefully it's not too late and that these people can continue doing what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, we should have, this is what happens when you allow a Republican president, when he was in office, to start doing the things that he's doing, and then it moves over to a Democrat president that's in office, and then this blows out of proportion, and we didn't check it in the beginning. So now we reap what we're sowing right now, because we allowed Trump to do it, and then check Trump when he was in office, and now you have a Democrat president, and they're going berserk right now, doing whatever they want, trying to get the kitchen sink ban and everything. And so now we're having to, fight for our lives right now, and Now we're going to have to wait a few years.
Can only hope it goes well.
Yeah.
That they rule in our favor.
Yep.
In the favor of the Second Amendment.
That's why you don't give them, don't give them an inch and they won't take a mile. You can't allow, you just can't, I don't care about bump stocks. We'll just go ahead and give up the bump stocks. It's not something that I'm concerned about. So I'll give that up and I'll let them take that, and then this is what we're, in the end, here's where we are.
Yeah. You'll never get your rights back once they're lost.
Yeah.
Once they're lost, they are gone.
And then last thing I want to talk about is Smith & Wesson has finally relocated to Tennessee. Man, they finally opened up this past Saturday in Tennessee, their new facility. Boy, I tell you, and I'm very happy because I've been waiting on some revolvers from Smith & Wesson. We want them to get their new facility up and going so they can start manufacturing some stuff and get some product out there, especially revolvers, which take forever. We're so backed up on waiting for revolvers to come in. It's just insane. So now that they finally got this new facility, they can take some heat off of us. The small mom and pop gun stores are trying to make people happy and get their different products out to them. And Jamie.
Hey, I'm here.
All right. So let's talk about what's going on in Austin, Texas with the homeless situation. There's so much stuff going on. You have, the Travis County Republican Party decided to deliver some shopping carts to City Hall in Austin, and it was a flop.
Well, it was more, I think, the Move Candlewood people, with Andy Hogue and RuPaul. I can't remember her last name right off the top of my head, but yeah, they had this great plan, and it was going to be a really good plan. 60, 70, we were planning all the way up to 100 shopping carts.
100 shopping carts.
We were going to have a series of U-Hauls up to 6. And
the reason why shopping carts, because some people ask, well, what's the deal about shopping carts?
Yeah.
Why shopping carts?
It's just because, there's so many of them around the city, and I've got a story I'll tell you.
Is that something that the homeless people actually take, steal?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're everywhere. If you look in the parks, the green belts, just pretty much anywhere, you're going to see just massive amounts of these shopping carts, and they're everywhere. And once they leave the shopping center. The shopping center wants nothing to do with them after that. They will not take them back. And so they're everywhere. And that's one of the things that, we've been working with the city on in the past. Like, what do we do with these? Because once they're gone from the shopping center will not take them back. You can't take them and scrap them because they are property of a store. So the scrap yards will not take them. And so people are stuck with them. So they had the idea that they were going to go and actually I got in on the planning of it with them early on. We were going to have a series of U-Hauls. I identified the homeless camps where the shopping carts were. Did a lot of work finding these. We had it planned. It was ready to go. And then the day of this event, which was Thursday, the day council was in session, I got a message about 6 that morning that they had lost the nerve, and we were going to go with 10 shopping carts. And not only were we going to go with 10 shopping carts, but we weren't going to leave. We couldn't leave them. We had to take them. So basically, we pulled up there and dropped off 10 shopping carts and had a photo op and loaded them back up. And
wow.
Took them back. I think they actually
that's a flop.
They took them back to the Hampton Inn and Suites. So I'm not sure what they're doing with them from there. But
so you have shopping carts that are all around the city that some of the homeless people are stealing from different stores and using them for their own personal use.
Yep.
And so this group was going to decided to take these shopping carts, and they were going to initially do 100 shopping carts at City Hall.
Yeah.
But then got a little scared.
Got a little worried. I think it was because the lawyers got involved, and we're told basically that
you can be charged with
something happens, you're liable,
right?
And you can get sued, go to jail, whatever. So I think that's where the hesitation came in that morning. Honestly,
I should have thought that through. Should have checked with your lawyers before you decided to make the move. Make the announcement.
Yeah, but it was a good little protest. I mean, it would have been a good protest having all of those out there. I mean, we had reporters from the Daily Mail, Fox News. I mean, we had reporters from all over that was wanting to see this. It was going to be a big deal. I mean, how often do you get to see almost 100 shopping carts dropped off at City Hall?
Yeah.
And then so it just didn't really work out.
They should have done 100 and just load them back up. I'd rather do 100 shopping carts and then load them back up again.
Yeah, it was basically it went from a protest to, what do you call it, just a photo op, maybe,
right?
I guess is what you want to call it. So, but I mean, it proved the point. You know, got the name in the paper, but yeah, I mean, you know, homelessness here in the city right now. You know, since Diana Gray quit, I don't know if you guys remember, she just up and resigned all of a sudden, a few months ago. And she's the homeless strategy officer here, or she was the homeless strategy officer. And funny enough, within a week, they actually appointed another guy with the last name of Gray, David Gray. So, and once that happened,
are they related?
They are not related. Not, I've asked. They say that they're not related, but it's just kind of odd to have two Grays. But you know, and ever since that he has been in, everything has basically stopped in the city as far as camp cleanups and.
So not even cleaning up the camps anymore.
Yeah, really, they're not doing anything, and that kind of started. I don't know if you remember a little while back, our friend on Twitter, Teddy Roosevelt. Was perusing the council agenda, and he found out that the city had just contracted with 3 new companies to do these camp cleanups, and we're talking each one of those companies were getting roughly $7 million apiece. And there was some funny business going on with that because 2 of the companies, the storefront for these companies was a house in Bastrop that it was just ran down, didn't look like anybody lived there. So they started doing some digging into that and found out that this company had, no credentials. They didn't have an LLC in Texas, but they were going to get $7 million from the city. So, once that hit the airwaves and once that hit Twitter, basically the Mackenzie Kelly stepped in and put the kibosh on that. And so that really kind of put a hold on the camp cleanups because they had no one to do the camp cleanups.
Wow.
But they do now. I think it's if I remember right, it's EDI, I believe, is who's doing them now. But yeah, they're just they're not enforcing the camping ban at the moment. They're not. I mean, they do clean some of these camps, but they only do it when their hand is forced. Like if there's some type of violent crime happening there, or a murder. Or, you remember the big brush fires and things that were happening in these camps. Only when something big was happening would they actually go in. And you literally had to force their hand to do it. So I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what the city has planned. We're going into winter, but it's kind of a shame. Like I said, things have basically just came to a standstill. And the homeless population usually around this time of year is starting to thin out. As you know, we're coming into.
Why is that? Because it's summer.
We're coming, going into colder weather, and so people are heading out to, they'll head to Florida, California, places where it's easier to and most people may not think it's hard to live in winter in Texas, South Texas, but it does get pretty cold here, and so they head to Florida, they head to California, but instead of the homeless population thinning out right now, we're actually picking more people up because word spreads, man. It's easy to live here homeless. It's easy to live. Now you get benefits. You get people to give you food. People will leave you alone. You can do your dope.
Get guns.
Oh man, we got to talk. We got to talk about that. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So Bolden Creek Greenbelt, which is over off Lamar, there was a massive homeless camp in there. We're talking probably 80 people living in there. And
this is how far from downtown Austin?
Half a mile.
Half a mile from half a mile, about a mile from downtown Austin.
Yeah, you can see it. I mean, the skyline. It's a good view. I mean, you can pitch a tent there. It's a great view.
Nice.
But these folks that were living there. There's right over off Lamar. There's like a mini storage place, and somebody, and I don't know exactly who it was, but he was a gun collector, gun enthusiast. Mm-hmm. He was storing hundreds of weapons in the storage locker, rifles, pistols.
Which is what people do. People store a lot of different things, a lot of valuables, and they use the storage, facility. That's what they're for.
Yeah.
That's what they're for.
And somehow, and this is what blows my mind. I don't know if these folks, if these homeless people they came from that camp to that storage shed. I don't know if they knew that the guns were in there or they just
No, I just know that people have valuable items, in storage.
So you think they just opened it and hit the jackpot and was
they hit the jackpot. Exactly. Because you don't know what's in there until you just hit it.
Yeah, well, they took them. They took the guns. They took them back into the homeless camp, and I'm guessing whoever owned it reported it to the cops and said, "Hey, you've got
100 guns.
You got a lot of guns in the homeless community right now." So SWAT team came out. They went back into the homeless camp there, and it was a big deal. I believe they got every gun back. If I remember right, they did get every gun back.
They usually do. When the ATF steps in, they typically will recover all those guns.
ATF was involved in that. I do remember. I saw the ATF raid jackets. They were involved in that operation. They did not want those guns in the homeless community. Can you imagine the trouble if they would have lost track or couldn't find those guns? I don't even want to imagine what would end up happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy, and that particular camp is they say that they're going to clean it out. I was there about a month ago. It's still there. Talked to some workers that was in there doing a little bit of cleaning, and they told me that it could be about 6 months before they clean it out. So who really knows at this point? At this point, there's really no telling what the city, what their plans are when it comes to homelessness. I just know that, you can go into their online database, and we have a camping ordinance here. And this year there has been 2 tickets issued.
2 tickets? So only 2 people have broken the camping ordinance this year?
2 people broke it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, they're not enforcing it. It's one of those things that they're just not enforcing. And I talked to a couple of police officers, and what they tell me is if they find a camp, they'll go up and say, "Hey, look, this is your warning. Move along," right? They'll leave them. They'll come back and they'll give them a second warning, and then they'll come back and give them a ticket. But I don't think that's happening either, because there would be more than 2 tickets. I mean, we have up to 10,000 homeless people in Travis County right now, and we all live here. You see it. You cannot drive anywhere besides out on West Austin without seeing a homeless camp somewhere. So. It's nuts. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take to get them to resume, cleaning these camps and doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, we rub their nose in it daily. And D.A.S.H, my little organization, we've grown quite big over the year doing this, and we rub their nose in it all the time. And now it just seems like one of the things they just kind of deal with it. So. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. And I can call the Homeless Strategy Division and try to talk to them. And, at this point, they don't return phone calls.
Homeless Strategy Division.
Yeah, they got a Homeless Strategy Division. Now, there is a guy that works there in the Homeless Strategy Division. His name is Charles.
Is that a way to increasing more homeless in Austin?
I really don't know what they do, honestly.
Is that the strategy?
I don't know really what they do. I mean, other than, identifying the camps that they're going to clean, they do that, but they're not cleaning camps. So, like I said, I really don't know what they do. I don't know. And it's a big department. But yeah, I'm not sure what their purpose is. And, obviously Diana Gray, something happened. Diana Gray was a homeless strategy officer. I didn't even know there was if you can imagine having that job, homeless strategy officer. But something happened because everything was going. She was the first homeless strategy officer in Austin, and something happened where she showed up at work one day and went, "That's it, boys, I'm done." I don't know what happened. Nobody really
She took the money and ran. Huh?
Maybe she did, but I tell you what, man, she showed up one day and then that was it. And I talked to some people in the office, and they said they had no idea it was coming. She literally came in one day and resigned. So. I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know exactly what happened.
Yeah. What else is going on?
Yeah. I mean, here in Austin, there's the Lady Bird Lake stuff, the deaths out of Lady Bird Lake. That stuff is kind of heating up again.
The killer?
No. Well, they haven't had any more bodies, but investigation-wise, there's
still people getting drugged. Because that happens a lot. There's stories that they're starting to run stories in the news now of young men that are coming forward and say, "Hey, I was drugged, I was robbed," and admitting that, which is hard, because men typically do not want to admit that something they got taken advantage of.
Well, I'm doing a story and a video on that subject, and I have talked to 106 people that has either been drugged or thought they had been drugged. And what's funny is Fox 7 just ran a story 2 days ago about a man here in Austin that did get drugged.
Right.
He was out with his friends. He went. I believe he said the last thing he remembers is getting into an Uber, and then the next thing he knows, he's waking up the next morning. His phone was gone. His wallet was gone. Thousands of dollars out of his bank. They did ATM withdrawals. They just took him for everything that he was worth. And what the sad thing is, this poor guy, we're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that he lost. He calls his bank and says, look, it was theft. I was robbed. He has the police report. And the bank tells him, well, your PIN was used when the money was taken, so we're not going to do anything for you. And so yeah, it's happening. There's the culture, especially in the entertainment area, from Rainey Street and down on 6th Street. There is a drugging culture in Austin. There's lots of people being drugged, and there's lots of people being robbed. There was a mother and daughter team that was robbing people here in Austin. They were actually working a circuit between Houston, San Antonio, and Austin, where they were drugging people with that over-the-counter sleep medicine at Doxy or Unisom. You know what I'm talking about? Just that little pill. They were dropping Unisom pills in their drink, and it was like 4 or 5 times the recommended dose. The men were drinking it and passing out, and but those women have been caught, and but it's still happening. It's happening here in Austin. I'm working on a project with a company right now. I can't talk about it because I'm under contract where I can't talk about it, but we're looking at deaths in Austin, Chicago, Boston, and New York, and this is happening all over the country. This same situation. Not only are there men dying in the water and drowning, but there is a huge problem with men and women being drugged in the bars.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's if anybody's watching out there, and if you're going to bars, watch yourself. Keep an eye on your drink, and never, ever, ever take a drink from somebody that you don't know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Solid advice.
Yeah. So it's scary. It's a scary time right now in Austin, and it's sad to say that. And you're right. Men typically will not come forward. The majority of the people that I've interviewed and talked to, and I've actually sat down on camera and interviewed, are women. I do have a handful of men, but I would say probably 97% are women. And
wow,
it's a lot of women. About 97%. I think about probably right off the top of my head, it's like 96 of the people are women. So it's a lot. And I'm getting more people coming forward every day. What I do is I go out on these groups like the Lady Bird Lake serial killer group where there's 100,000 members, and
mostly women.
Mostly, yeah. I go out to these groups, and I'm on Facebook now. I can't believe they did it, but I have the trusted reporter badge. I didn't even know what that meant, but apparently it makes people trust you. So I go out and make a post out there. Hey, do you think you've been drugged? Send me a message, and boy, the inbox just gets flooded.
Really? Wow.
So of the men that contacted you, how many of them actually also told law enforcement?
There has been, right now I have 7 people that went to law enforcement.
Wow.
That actually went to the cops, that actually has proof that they had, money taken out of their accounts. I have one guy that, the person that did this to him actually tried to go onto Robinhood and tried to sell a stock at like 2 a.m, but it was after hours, and the sale didn't go through. But yeah, 7 people.
7 out of how many?
About 105 that
wow.
Only 7 told law
I would
enforcement.
say out of the 105 people that I have on record, I would say maybe 20 of those people are pretty. I would say that they have actual evidence that something was happening. Most of these people went to the bar, they had 1 or 2 drinks, and they think they got. They think they got drugged.
So if they don't have evidence, they're not going to the cops.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So they think something happened. They're not 100% certain. But when you hear their story, it's like, that fits the pattern of everything else we've heard. You were probably drugged. And then you have some people that, they just went out and got shit faced, and they don't want to admit it to their significant other or whatever. So it's like, I got drugged. But it's definitely a problem, and it's very easy for it to happen, especially with the technology that we have. Our phones. I don't know. I mean, how many of you guys do y'all have your fingerprints on to be able to unlock your phone?
I don't.
Well, I do, and it's sad. I need to turn it off.
I don't. Yeah, I purposely do not do that because I
That
didn't
is
want.
smart.
I don't want to get. Now.
I don't use that either to unlock
You
my
don't
phone.
use the biometrics.
No, I use a code.
Yeah, don't use the biometrics, especially if you're going out to the bars. Do not use the biometrics on your phone because that is the easiest way for these people. Once they drug you,
They'll just grab your phone, put it up to your face, unlock it.
yeah, or your
and then
finger,
do what they want to
and
do.
unlock it, and then they have access to everything. And you know how it is. I mean, my bank, my app on here,
Everything's in there once you get in.
everything's there, man.
Yeah.
Everything, stock, bank, insurance, everything is on that phone. So, yeah, stop using biometrics on these phones. It is definitely not safe, especially if you're going out to the bars. Don't do it. It's definitely not safe. Yeah, it's scary. I'm 40. I don't go to the bars, but I'm married and I've got a couple of kids. I'm glad I don't go to them anymore. But I can see how it would happen. You go out and start having a few drinks. These ladies that got actually caught doing it, they were very good looking. It was a mother and daughter team, but they passed themselves off as sisters.
Oh, yeah.
And they're very good looking, and you know how it is. You go out and you start having a couple of drinks, and a good looking woman starts
After a couple
giving
drinks,
you the
everything's good looking.
attention. Yeah. You got a good looking woman giving you that attention, and that's it, man. You're pretty much done at that point.
And especially working as a tag team, they can influence you and play with your heads a little bit.
The crazy thing about it is these guys called the cops the next morning, right? And how they caught these women, they caught two ways. They caught them. One, they were using over-the-counter sleep aids, and so if they would have went to the ER and got drug tested, they would not have tested for that particular drug. They would have tested for the narcotics, roofies or GHB or whatever. But where they messed up is the ladies left a phone. They took his phone and left a phone that wasn't his with him, and they left a box of the medication right on his coffee table.
Oh.
They forgot it there, and
so a little sloppy.
Yeah, and it got him caught. Fingerprints all over.
Oh, wow.
Fingerprints on that, and yeah, the phone belonged. It was actually the phone. It's so dumb. This is how dumb criminals are. The phone that they left with the guy was one of their phones that they had stopped using a while back, but it still had every bit of their information on it. That's how dumb criminals are.
Oopsie.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody found your phone and you're a cop and you use Cellebrite, they could identify you within 5 minutes.
Right.
And that's what they did with these women.
Wow.
Cellebrite?
Yeah, it's a
Is that what the police use?
yeah, it's a program that they use. They plug your phone
into it. Boom, they have
Man,
everything.
let me tell you, it
Do they
doesn't
need your
matter.
passcode?
No, it doesn't matter if you've deleted something. It doesn't matter
On
if
an
you've
iPhone?
Yeah,
They don't need
no.
your passcode.
no. Cellebrite is bad. It's a badass piece of software. If you've deleted it, you can format your phone, reinstall the OS, and they will still pull up your text messages, your pictures, your old apps, your metadata. They pull it all. It's called Cellebrite. Look it up. Look up
Shoot the
Cellebrite.
phone. Got it. Shoot the phone.
Yeah, or
Got it.
you do like Hillary Clinton did and just take
Bleach it.
sledgehammers
Magnetize
and-
it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Literally, if you want to stop somebody from getting your data, you have to physically destroy it.
Got it.
So all the people that they
In the
upgrade
ocean.
their phone and they send their old one, give it back to Apple, they can just pull everything
Yep.
too.
Absolutely. And they say with Apple, it's a little bit harder for them to do. I think there are ways.
They made the phone.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all remember a while back that the FBI was having all that trouble. They were demanding that Apple help them, and Apple's like, nah, I'm not helping you. We're not giving you that data.
That was just for show.
Yeah, well, the government went out and made a program that did it anyway. So,
Wow.
well, I mean, it's the government. They can pretty much do everything they want, and that's what Cellebrite does. Yes,
Taking my old phone to the gun range tomorrow.
Yep,
Got it.
I mean, Hillary Clinton, man, you got to bleach bit it and then take a sledgehammer to it and just
got it.
That's it, man. Hillary
like in
Clinton.
Office Space.
Yeah, but check out that software. Read about it. It's actually kind of
what's it called again?
They can do Cellebrite.
Okay.
Cell Bright. It is a scary piece of software, and thank God that company, they will only sell to law enforcement agencies. You can imagine if Joe Blow off the street got his hands on that. And I'm probably sure there's leaked copies of it out there on the internet, but it is absolutely one of the.
This company's headquartered out of Israel.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Sounds right.
Yep, it's crazy, man, what they can do. I've seen, we do FOIA requests on some of the cases that we're investigating. And the Cellebrite reports are in the case file. You got to see
Israeli digital intelligence. Israeli digital intelligence company.
Yep, and it is powerful. And I think pretty much just about every law enforcement agency in the country uses Cellebrite. So, and I believe I could be mistaken about this. Unless you give them the phone, they have to have a warrant. Or you can consent to the search, but I don't know why you would do that. But I think they would absolutely have to have a warrant to pull that because, I mean, it's literally going to pull up.
Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense how Dusterhoff didn't want to hide his phone. Now it all makes sense.
Because
he knew.
Man.
Wow.
You think you delete something, you format it, you think it's gone? Wow. No, sir. It's there, man. It's scary. It is. These devices that we carry, these little computers we carry around in our pocket, if you're a criminal and you're carrying one of these things, I mean, you're
there's a total trail.
Man, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you're a criminal. Why? It's kind of like that guy out of what was it, Georgia, the Murdaugh trial. This guy was a prosecutor and he killed his wife, but his phone, he had it with him, and it's what gave him away. And it's like if
they tracked him.
You're a prosecutor. You should know that little device is a bug in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Scary stuff, man. But that's where we're at, surveillance state, guys. We are in a surveillance state.
Yeah, and we pay $1,500 for this piece of surveillance equipment that we carry around with us. We pay for it.
I just got this nice Google Pixel here. Paid a lot of money for it, for that bug to put in my pocket, so they could track you, listen to you, and
listen to you.
Look it
Not
up.
me, you.
Yeah. Look it up. And a lot of, and here's the other crazy thing about it is these people think that there was that guy up in Idaho, the Idaho 4 that killed those 3 girls and that one guy at the University of Idaho or wherever it was at up there, and they caught him by his phone too, and he thought that just because he put it on what is that where you airplane mode. Yeah. He thought just because he put it on airplane mode that it still wasn't collecting like GPS coordinates and, all this other stuff. But they knew the exact time that he put it on, that he turned it off, and then they watched him all the way to Idaho, and then they knew when he turned it back on. And
even if you turn your phone off, all these things are still being tracked.
Yeah.
Your phone is not actually off when you turn it off.
Exactly.
Unless you can actually physically take the battery out,
right. Which you can't do with an iPhone.
Your phone does not turn off.
I've been told that by a lot of professionals. The only way is to either take the battery out of it or dump it in a cup of water and destroy it. That's the only way to really be sure that you're not being tracked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Turning it off doesn't work.
Yeah, they can actually, if you put your phone in a Faraday bag, they could take your phone, and let's say you drove with it, they could use your accelerometer, which senses when you pick up the phone and what orientation it's in. They can use your accelerometer data to tell where you're going. They can tell turn by turn where you went, how fast you went, using accelerometer data and no GPS data.
There was a team out of MIT a few years ago that they were going through Google's terms of service, wanting to know exactly what Google collected on you.
They want your accelerometer data.
Well, they took a phone, fresh install, fresh phone, fresh install, and they had some software that they had built to put on it that they could watch every packet that left that phone. And so they used the phone for a week and then pulled off the data, and they could see every bit of data that was sent back to Google, and it was scary the amount of data that this phone collects about you that it sends to Google. It knows when you're taking a dump. It knows when you wake up. It knows everything. It knows more about you than you know about yourself.
Gary even knew when I was taking a dump the other day because I was sending him memes.
It's scary.
Like,
I mean,
oh yeah.
You know, they know everything about you. It's listening to you. You know, if you're using that voice activation, it's listening to you constantly, 24/7. It's listening to you. And how that voice activation works, if you say, you know, hello Google or okay Google, this thing is listening 24/7. When it hears that word, it then sends it back to a company that turns it into a digital file and compares it to your voice and then sends it back to your phone and unlocks it. That's how that works. So your phone is listening to you 24/7.
Even if you don't have that feature on.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Siri at home.
What is the Alexa?
Amazon? Yeah, it's all listening to you. There was a murder solved by that Amazon. What is that? Is it a dot Amazon? I forget what they call it. Amazon
Alexa.
Alexa. But it was listening, and it recorded a murder. And they used that.
They got a warrant for it, didn't they?
They did, and they used that information. And it.
And fun fact, your accelerometer in your phone, they have actually programmed them to be able to pick up audio.
Yeah. Scary, ain't it?
From the accelerometer in your phone, which is used to just tell the motion of the phone. Yeah. They're so precise that the vibrations from your voice move it ever so slightly, and they have been able to decode that data and tell exactly what you're saying.
And think about how many people put TikTok on their phone, and now the Chinese Communist Party has it. They have everything.
Yeah, because that's that. Yeah. That's a whole nother story.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
You know, if they literally wanted to wage war on us, it would be easy for them to do it just through these right here. Mm-hmm. You know, it wouldn't be hard for the Chinese. You know, for the Chinese to.
And we all consent to it.
Yeah, man, every day. I refuse to even TikTok. I refuse. I don't have anything to do with it.
You know, speaking of like Israel, because we're talking about Cellebrite, the company that's out of Israel that law enforcement uses to get access to your phone. Speaking of Israel, with everything that's going on in the country, you know, gun sales are actually starting to increase because people are worried about the protests, you know, and possibly things turn into riots, and then possibly maybe some incident happening, you know, to the fact that schools have been letting something has happened in a school district, and they let the kids out of school early because some threat that's been mentioned, or they got wind of a threat or something like that. And nothing's actually happened, but because they're getting these different alerts and scares and stuff like that, you know, all this stuff is coming out of what's going on in Israel and the Gaza Strip, and people are just losing their ever-loving mind when it comes to this situation, and we've totally forgot about you know, other countries, you know, conflicts that we've had, like Afghanistan. We forgot about that. We forgot about, you know, with Russia, you know, what's happening with what's the country? Exactly. We don't even remember anymore.
The other one that we're sending billions of dollars.
Yeah.
To?
What's the name of the country?
Ukraine.
Starts with a U.
Yeah. Ukraine.
Now Israel and Ukraine.
So now you know, here we are. You know, people have forgotten about it. You know, Ukraine. Now it's about what's going on in Israel. And I'm willing to bet half of these nut jobs can't even find Israel on the freaking map. They can't find the Gaza Strip on the map. So before you pick a side, whether you're pro-Israel, you're anti-Israel, at least find it on the map first. Yeah. You know, before, because it's just crazy. We go from one thing to another. And all of a sudden, people change their backdrops on their, you know, on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. You know, show what they're supporting at this moment in time, and all this good kind of stuff. You literally are just letting me know that you're psycho. All you people are psycho.
Just like the pronouns in the bio. You see it, I just click off.
Yeah.
I don't give them the time.
So find it on the map, and then I'll believe you.
So let me ask y'all a question. So we're sending tons of money to Ukraine. Now we're going to be sending tons of money to Israel, and we're probably going to be involved militarily in Israel. What do you guys think the chances of China going ahead and taking Taiwan back while they got the chance?
Now's the time. Now's the time why we have
there's a good chance that they will.
We have a sleeping president at the wheel, so now's the time for China to do what they want to do with Taiwan. It's time for Russia to do what they want to do with Ukraine. Yep. It's time for Iran to do what they're going to do with Israel. Now's the time because we have a sleeping, weak president at the helm.
Well, he was asked that. I heard him ask that question, and his answer was, "Come on, man, we're the United States of America. We're the greatest country in the world. Come on, man."
Yeah, now it's time for North Korea to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Now's the time. Now it's time for everyone to act crazy all at one time.
And, you got Russia and China, now they've have that pact and that agreement with each other, and things are about to get really bad. And, I have children now, and I hope that this president is not getting us into a world war that my kids are going to have to fight for.
One thing you can say for sure, is that none of this would have happened when Trump was in office because, man, they're like, man, that Trump is crazy, and everyone's deathly afraid of what he would do.
It was always that we think he may be kidding, like when he said he was gonna nuke Moscow and he was gonna nuke Beijing. It's like there's that 90% they think he may not be serious, but there's that 10% that they don't really know.
Yeah,
and so they're like, we're not gonna do. We'll do it. We'll talk about it another day because there's a chance this guy may actually do it.
But now, I mean, my goodness, there's nothing that's holding them back now. Yeah, North Korea can do whatever they want to do. Russia can do what they want to do. China can do what they want to do. Iran can do what they want to do.
I think that's where we're going to war first. I think we're going to attack Iran before this is all over. And I hate to say that, but it's scary. It's a scary thought that we're going to be in another war in the Middle East again. We just got out of it, and I'll be damned if we're not back.
It all depends on what's going to happen in the next 30 days. Next 30 days will dictate, our next 4 years.
So let me ask you this: what would you, for the average person out there, like myself, have a family? What would you recommend people start stocking up on here at home?
You need to start prepping immediately. You need to get yourself some. If you don't have gas masks, you need to get yourself a gas mask. I have gas masks for everyone in my family. You need to start. If you don't have food already prepped, you need to have some food prep. Water. You need to have, your bottled water already right now. Dry food. MREs, whatever, you got to have that stuff now. We've already found out, during COVID, when everything shut down, how crazy things can actually get, and how, especially in Austin, we had the freeze when everything, the grocery stores, kind of shut down, and people were standing in line trying to get groceries. There's no power. So I remember seeing cars that were lined up, on the road, thinking, oh man, people are parked on the road. Must be something. They're giving away something free around here. No, they were stuck on the ice and they just abandoned their vehicle. I never thought I would see that in Austin. So, that 2020, opened my eyes to like, man, you know what? You better definitely make sure that you're prepared, whether it's guns, ammunition, food, water, protective gear. You need to be prepared to take care of your family, because if you're not, then you're going to get got.
And in all likelihood, it's probably going to be something that happens for a relatively short amount of time. Let's say the grid goes down.
Yeah.
One day, you'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
What if it's 3 days, 7 days?
A week.
What if it's 3 weeks?
And here's the thing. I got caught in that with the ice storm. We got caught with our pants down, and I had a baby. I had a 6-month-old baby at the time, and we started running out of milk. I was standing in line at the H-E-B. I would stand in line for 2.5 to 3 hours to get in to just basically get milk. I have never in my life seen that, and I'm going to tell you the other thing that I saw. People in those lines, they were starting to get angry with each other. It was starting to turn into this kind of if things really get bad in this country, you're going to see the worst side of people come out. Your neighbor it will kill you for what you have.
We saw that because you remember there was an H-E-B that was in South Austin that they lost their power, and so they threw a lot of the food in the dumpster.
Yes,
and people were fighting over food in the dumpster.
I remember that now. There's video of it.
Yeah.
Sure, I
fighting
remember
over
that.
the food in a dumpster in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
In Austin, Texas.
Now imagine if war came to, God forbid, war, came here to us and shit hit the fan, literally.
It's going to be bad.
Yeah, it's going to be real bad. Yeah. And that's why I was asking, what would you recommend, people to do, your average everyday people, just to survive a month, to.
Yeah, you need some guns, you need ammunition, a lot of ammunition.
Yeah.
and you need to be trained with the firearm, know how to use the gun, and then also you need food, water, MREs. Man, I have boxes and cases of MREs. I still have the MREs that they were going to throw away this last freeze.
Yep.
The city people didn't want those. They wanted real food. They wanted they wanted good stuff.
Yep.
And the city was giving away these MREs. And they're like, we don't want this stuff. So people left MREs, and I went and grabbed all those suckers up. I got them all in storage. So I'm prepared. I'm ready.
Well, it never hurts, to have a stockpile. And my wife and I, we started stockpiling rice and beans and, powdered milk, things like that, things that would last a while. And I used to go up to Fort Hood and all of the little Army, Navy stores around there. You could just buy cases of MREs. Mm-hmm. And they're not bad. They're really not bad. There's some of them that are not very good. But most of them are pretty good, and you put them in the closet.
Food. That's the thing.
Forever.
It's food. And if something happens, you have food.
It's calories.
You have food.
You will survive.
Yes.
And I would hate to think that something like that would ever happen here. But man, you look at what's happening around the world right now, and it seems like every day it's looking like it's more and more possible. And with this president that we have right now, he's such a weak guy. We're controlled by weaklings and the elderly that should be in the homes. But, if somebody's going to try something against us, it's going to be now. They won't do it when Trump gets back in office in 2024.
No, now's the time.
Now, they're going to take their chance.
We're
right now.
Yeah, we're weak right now. We're weak on our stance with everything around the world. Yeah. Everything. We're very weak on it.
And then our population here, we're fighting every day about, nonsense about,
infighting,
LGBTQ and, it's all, it's
all we're doing. All a distraction. Even the ATF sent out an alert earlier this month, the fact that they're thinking that drug cartels from criminal organizations are trying to get access to large caliber, like 50 caliber rifles and ammunition. And so we even had people walk into the gun store here, after this alert went out, to try to buy 50 cal and 50 cal ammunition, to the point where this guy walks in. Zach, check this out. He walks into the gun store. He comes in. He says, "Hey, I need to get. Just wondering what your ammo prices are." I said, "Okay, what caliber?" He goes, "I don't know. 12 gauge, 9 mil, 45. 223, 5.56. What caliber? And then I can tell you, what the ammo price is." He's like, "Well, I don't know." So I said, "Okay. Well, when you come back, when you know." And so he leaves. 2-3 hours later, he comes back and goes, "Okay, 50 cal." I'm like, okay, so that's not suspect. He walked in, didn't know what caliber at all, and what caliber he was looking for out of all the ammunitions out there. I want to get ammo prices. Okay, what caliber ammo do you want to get the prices for? He had no clue whatsoever. Come back a couple hours later and it says 50 cal.
So he was the one that they put the alert out about.
Oh yeah. So basically, what they're doing is they're sending random people into stores that to get this stuff, to buy these items, whether it's ammunition, whether it's the actual firearms and stuff like that. They're trying to do straw purchases, and they're using people that they think that can actually to pay cash, to get these things, and then I guess they're going to smuggle them over across the border or whatever.
Kind of like a mule, but for firearms.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can take out any body armor with a 50 cal.
Yeah, and the threat is real.
You can take out vehicles with a 50 cal.
So as a gun store owner, with your FFL, if you suspect something like that is happening, it is your responsibility to stop that sale immediately, right? Is that something that the ATF puts on you to try to identify those kind of circumstances?
If you can, if you can identify that, you have to listen to everything that goes on. There's so many different things that's happening in the store, whether I'm over here doing paperwork, checking over paperwork, processing stuff, right. Whether I'm on the phone with someone, my clerk's in here talking to someone, I have to listen to everything that's going on, whether it's something that someone says in the back, getting fingerprints done for something, whether it's someone standing in this lobby here asking a weird question, someone in the gun room asking some weird question. You kind of have to listen to and be aware of everything that goes on.
Poke up
everything at the same time. It's like information is coming in 5 or 6 different ways, all day long at the same time, and you have to try to filter, what's going on. It could definitely be difficult, and we're a small store.
Yeah, a lot of responsibility. Yeah, and especially with the ATF that just has been hassling you lately. So.
All right, Jamie, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. Yeah. I really appreciate that. We kind of got a we went all around, all around the country here on what's going on, the gun news, what's happening in other cities and states. And then also we talked about, here in Austin, Texas, in the homeless situation and homeless crisis. As always, more guns equals less crime. You go out there and you buy yourself a gun. Hey, it's really important that you help us right now. We're in a fight for our life. So please share, subscribe, like, come and talk it.